This is your most important responsibility. There's a story behind that. This is your daily message from Chad number 1047 to upgrade your mental game today by telling yourself a better story. Because the most important story you hear is the story you tell yourself. This message is specially dedicated to Zach Hawkins on his birthday. Happy birthday, Zach. Here's the upgrade. You think what happens to you determines your outcome, but upgraded thinking controls the space between. Here's the story. They confiscated his home and belongings. He was imprisoned. They stripped him naked and shaved his head. They took his life's work, his research and writings. They executed his family, including his wife, who was pregnant with their child. Yet through these events, he maintained that life had meaning. My question to you is, what kind of story does a person have to tell himself to preserve such a perspective? This was the story of Dr. Viktor Frankl, neurologist and psychiatrist, who passed through 4 concentration camps at the hand of the Nazis during World War II. On this day in 1945, he was liberated from the concentration camp at Turkheim. He had already begun to write what would become Man's Search for Meaning in Vienna before the war. He hid it in the lining of his coat, and it was confiscated when he was processed in Auschwitz. He began to mentally reconstruct the message in the camps and published it a year after the war. He dictated it in just 9 days. One of the storylines Frankl told himself can be summed up in the equation E plus R equals O. That equation stands for event plus response equals outcome. One of the most quoted lines from Man's Search is, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Frankl maintained his ability to respond. As Covey has phrased it, that is the power of responsibility, our ability to respond. Is the story you're telling yourself helping you maintain that power? What kind of story does a person have to tell himself to experience so much meaninglessness to come out on the other end with that message? My question to you is, would the stories you tell yourself sustain such a stance? You're telling yourself different stories all day long. They either sustain or drain. They're helping you grow into the best version of yourself or holding you back. The better story to tell yourself is, I am 100% responsible for how I choose to respond to anything and everything that happens in my life. You can't and don't control the events of your life. You are not 100% responsible for the events, but you do and can control your response. You are 100% responsible for your responses. This is your most important responsibility. It is your ability to respond to life's events. That will determine the outcome you experience. The event plus your response equals the outcome. Tell me a story of an extraordinary ability to respond to fromchadsmith@gmail.com. Send someone a text and ask them, do you think you are always responsible for your responses in life? You can get a free copy of my book, The Most Powerful Story in the World, by going to fromchad.gumroad.com. The transcript of this message and hundreds of others are always available at www.fromchad.com.